Hi. Um, so I have finished the book Cycles of the Phoenix, and overall I loved it. Um, Let me get the summary. So I think a person let me see. Yes, I think someone I wanted to sneeze. Sorry. So I think someone summarized it quite well. So it basically states Cycle of the Phoenix by C.A. Nicholas is an interconnected collection of fantasy stories in 3 books that are told through the eyes of characters who are facing very real mental, emotional, and physical struggles. And in Nicholas's first book, Sanity's War, each character fights for their soul against an enemy. What? Fights against an army of the darkest monsters or the secrets of inner desire, while Aveline in the first story is fighting against fire and soul rendering monsters, and Faray in the fourth story fights herself. Both characters are in truth fighting a very real battle. Nicholas's afterword from the author speaks to the reader about the battles of depression, anxiety, and untimely death and suicide, all aspects that are prevalent in the stories of Science's War, while the reader could ultimately read the fantasy stories as simply an outstanding use of visuals, color, and sense description. A true reading of the stories shows that how the characters battle within themselves and are not always the victor. That is basically the first book. Now the second book is Strange. Once again brings inner demons into actuality in a mixture of stories told by characters who are fighting, who have lost, and who are never giving up in their battle to be saved or to save others. The first story, also titled Strange, tells the story of Jackson, whose sole job is to protect others from the creature that is meant to lure them into suicide. He then becomes consumed by the creature himself and must save himself before he can continue his fight. Another story, The Soul of Scott Wendell, uses a demon meant to be depression and its son suicide to give a dark inside look into the fight against falling and how love can hold you back from the breaking point from everyone which everyone is unable to read which everyone which what everyone is unable to return. These are stories of victors, as Nicholas states, and they are beautiful if scarred heroes for everyone. So the second book was basically about suicide and how people maybe overcome suicide or they give into suicide, and some people try to protect people from committing suicide. The main message was that knowing that you have people that care for you can bring you back from doing committing suicide, and that is so true. Like the people you love has like a special place to bring you back from dark times and dark days and stuff like that. The third book is Kenya, Where Have You Gone? And this is a story about human trafficking, and you could also see sexual abuse by her friend. So, well, not really a friend, but Kenya considered her friend. In the final book in this collection, The Piece is a collection of chapters told by several characters who are all connected through child molestation. Fumi, a young girl, silently accepts her uncle's abuses in a desire to save her sisters from similar pain and torment. And her sisters don't really like her. Like, I'm saving my sisters from pain and torment, and then they don't like me. What? I'm not doing that. I'm just like, it's whatever. However, her uncle discovers she has been receiving letters from a friend, which is Kenya, who he decides to get rid of in order to continue his control over his niece. Ending this interlude story are the chapters about Kenya, the young friend who unknowingly is threatened and in these chapters has disappeared. This final book is one of the hardest to read and yet one of the most important in the entire collection, as it also ties together with the very first story in the collection. Now, I didn't find the last story was very hard to read, to be honest. I mean, child molestation is a topic very dear to my heart, to be honest. But like, I guess I blocked out my emotions I just blocked out all those negative emotions. When I first saw, okay, it's about human trafficking, sex, whatever, I had basically blocked out any emotional connection to it. I only had emotional connection to the first book. The second book, not so much. What I thought about the second book was that a lot of the stories were very repetitive, and that would be I'm critiquing and stuff like that. So it was very repetitive in certain words they used and in the stories they told in the second book, which I think you could tell the same story by different ways and different fantasy loops, but it kind of did, but then kind of didn't, because certain words were very repetitive. The train, and etc. It was very repetitive, and that could have been avoided. That would be my critique. I was going to critique the size of the book, like how big the lettering was, but I understand because I published a book by Amazon and I chose a font, and then thinking that it would be a small font, and then when I received a copy for myself, it was kind of big, not over the top big, but kind of big. But if in the future you could just trim down the font and the size of the book, because when you make the font smaller, the book will shrink. It's not really that much of long stories, it's short stories, and by trimming down the size of the font, you could have less pages. Yep. My overall view for this book is that it is a very emotional book. If you can't deal with topics of human human trafficking, depression, anxiety, suicide, and stuff like that, do not read it. But if you could handle that, then go ahead. I fully recommend this book because and the next critique I could give is that the wording could be simplified. Just that, because sometimes not every, like, according to who you want your audiences to be, because I think this would be a good book for like teenagers and older people as well, but like teenagers, and the wording could be a little too macho, so that I will advise you on that one. So that's basically it. Right now I cannot breathe properly, so I'm taking in deep breaths. But yeah, basically I said I was going to like do 3 videos, but I finished this book so fast. Like, yes, last night I sat down and I was just reading the second book, and then I said, okay, let me just start the third book, because I mean it's not that long. So I just read, and then bam, I'm done. I have to go write my review. I wrote piece of it, but I did not finish. I only wrote about the first book, and that was it. So I have to go and write about the second and the third book. So I hope you enjoyed this review. I posted a picture of the book on Instagram. My Instagram for my bookstagram is Rosie's Star Books, I think. I don't even know my name. It's a shame. Yeah, Rosie's Star and Books. That is ROSEIZSCRANDBOOKS. Rosie's Star and Books. So if you wanna see my posts about books, you can go there. So like, comment, subscribe, and enjoy the rest of my channel videos or whatever. I'm going to edit this video now and put it up along with my December TBR, which is 8 days late or 7 days late. So bye.